then. Let's put this one back on the spot. That one's on the money. Right, and guys, welcome to another video with Match Fishing Magazine. Today we're out testing the Shimano Aero X3 Precision range of rods. Now the X3 sits kind of midway in the range for Shimano, and there's actually 8 rods within this X3 series. But for the Precision, which is what we're looking at today specifically, you've got an 8-foot, a 9/11 interchangeable length, and this one, which I'm fishing with today, which is the 10-foot. So we've come to Makins Fishery, local venue to me, and it's an absolutely fantastic place. Sure you've heard of it before. And we're sitting on pool 4. Now I've sat on pool 4 because on one of the end pegs, because I've got a spare pallet over there that I can fish a feeder to and ping a few 8mm over there. So nice simple approach to today's fishing. We've probably had, you know, 4 or 5 really big carp already, so it's turning out really well. Just chucked it out. Basically where the pallet is probably about 2.5 feet of water, and that's where I'm fishing to. Pinging a few pellets over the top and then just chuck in a method, nice and simple, which has got a 4-inch 019 hook length, size 12 hook with a small hair, little wafter, and I'm fishing with the fishery pellets. So the 2mm fishery pellets just softened up. That's all I've done, and I say we've had quite a few bites already. Some good fish as well, you know, pool 4, lake 4 and lake 2, they got some real big fish in now, so it's the perfect place to come and test this sort of rod. All we've got to do now is wait for that next bite. And there's the bite. So we just dropped that feeder just off the edge of that pallet. We've built up a good swim now, constantly casting in every 2-3 minutes, you know, in between catching fish and things, in between catching carp, just building that swim up, constantly building it, pinging a few 8mm over the top as well. And these fish are now coming, well, very regularly, thick and fast, you might say. So what about these rods then? Well, this is the first time that I've ever actually picked these rods up or, you know, held them or anything like that, and they're absolutely lovely. I think considering these sit midway in the range at, I said, 95 to 145 pounds suggested retail price, the action and the way they feel is really, really nice. You know, the blanks are nice and slim. The actions on this 10-foot, the actions, I guess you would describe it as progressive. But the thing is, it's actually got plenty of power in the middle as well. It's not stiff by any stretch, but it's not floppy and kind of a bit undergunned either. So these are big fish that we're catching here, you know, maybe 6, 7, 8 pounds sort of thing. So average commercial sort of size fish, and they pull hard, you know, so you do need a rod with a bit of power to get them, you know, to steer the fish the way that you want them to go. And this rod's certainly got that. So yeah, the Precision Feeder 10-foot, it's got this beautiful weave on it as well, up to kind of the butt ring. So I think there's obviously some performance benefits with that, but aesthetically, it looks really nice too, especially being tipped off with the like the purple whipping as well. It's a really, really smart looking range of rods. The reel seat is Fuji, and it's kind of a mix between the cork and the Duplon. It's the rod feels really lightweight and crisp and responsive. You know, not fishing too far today. You know, for a 10-foot rod, it's probably about right. You know, maybe 35 meters, something, 30 meters, maybe something like that. But yeah, it's coped with everything perfectly, and so far, up to now, we've not lost a single fish either. You know, so the rod's cushioning the fight. Yeah, of course, we're using an elasticated feeder as well, because you can use them here at Makins. So that's helping with cushioning the fight of the fish. But as I mentioned, with a kit, size 12 hook, you know, we're using a 4-inch hook length, 019, size 12, and a small method feeder. And around the feeder, I'm just using some softened 2mm fishery pellets. So I've just literally wet them with lake water, standard drill. And then this one's having a little rip off there. He's flying. Yeah, so soften the pellets just with lake water, and then it's moulding around the feeder in the usual style. Hook bait, I'm using just a small wafter, which seems to be working really well. But with the weight of that size 12, it's just pinning that hook bait down perfectly. And most of the bites so far have come really quickly as well. As in, we've cast in, we've sunk the line, and then kind of the rod's almost round immediately after that. This feels like another decent fish. It's probably also worth mentioning at this point as well that I've teamed this rod up with a 4000 size Shimano Aero XR reel, and I must say, again, this is the first time that I've used this Aero reel as well, and it does seem to be a perfect match with this rod. I do use some good gear in my own fishing, and I must say that this reel is very, very smooth. When you're winding line under load, when you're trying to play these fish, it's just got the power. It's got the winding power, and it's ever so smooth. As you can hear there as well, when I'm fishing for fish like this, or I like to set both the drag, so just to cushion against any lunges like that. But when the fish gets closer as well, I also switch on the anti-reverse so I can wind both ways, and I've also got the secondary safety of the drag. So there's hopefully minimal chance of the fish kind of running off quickly, flat rodding you and breaking your hook length or breaking your line. So it's just like a double safety precaution. That's just more a personal preference than anything, but that's just the way that I like to do it. If this fish bolts off now, I've got the drag as safety. And that's just always the way that I've done it. This one's looks like he's nearing the net. Say we've had some big mirrors so far. Ghosty, couple of commons as well. We've had a really nice mix of fish. A couple of skimmers as well, in fact. But we didn't come here to try and catch the skimmers, obviously. We came here to give these Aero X3s a workout. Beautiful action on these rods. Beautiful action. As I said, progressive, but I'm not sure if you can see it from that angle there, but there's quite a bit of power through, especially through this middle section here, or from this second ring up there. As I'm playing the fish, I can see they're nice and forgiving, but progressive and powerful as well. Sometimes you find if the rods are really, really soft, you don't have the backbone, to lift the fish and get it towards the net. But these seem to be a really good mix of both things. The rods also come with a range of tips. So you've got 3 interchangeable quiver tips with this one, and I'm using the 1.5 ounce version at the moment. Another big mirror. It's a cracker. And there you can see he's just setting that drag just perfect, so he can take some line just as I'm got the other hand busy with the net, set the drag so that hopefully I'm not going to get caught out by a fish bolting and breaking the hook length. So it's a robust hook length anyway, 019, size 12 hook. So it's gear that I've selected purposely for the job, but even so, you want to give yourself every chance of getting the fish in. He's nearing the net. He's really, really putting up a good fight, this one. He's really pulling hard. It's a good mirror. Really chunky fish. But I think if you can just see that action there of the rod, there's still plenty of power in the middle. I can feel it as the carp lunges. The rod's not doubling over, as it were. I think probably the top 1/3 of the rod's doing a lot of the work. But that's also going to help you with your casting as well, because you've got the power here and the strength and the rigidity to punch a feeder. I mean, you can punch the feeder plenty far enough with this rod, without having to switch up to a longer rod to get the distance. Here we go. He's come up He's coming up this time. Is he coming up this time? Yes, there we go. Well, that's a beauty. Let's have a little look at him. Oh yeah, easy double figures that one, easy double figures. Shimano Aero X3 did an absolutely brilliant job on that one. You know, these are probably typical stamp fish in a lot of commercials these days, and you want a rod that is going to allow you to cast accurately and also to be able to control this fish, and that's exactly what that Aero X3 10-foot precision feeder has allowed us to do here. I'm going to get this one back, I'm going to get in for another one. Well, there's another bite. So just slip that big mirror back, chuck back out on the spot, and no more than a couple of minutes later the rod's off again and we got another decent fish. I don't think it's as big as the last one, or it certainly doesn't feel as heavy. I'm pretty sure it's a carp. So yeah, I mean these Aero X3 rods I think are going to deliver, you know, certainly everything that you could want. I'd be personally be more than happy to be using these rods for my own fishing. I've been able to cast accurately today, although it's quite calm at the moment. There's been quite a strong crosswind cutting across, and you know that can affect your accuracy and when you're casting and things. And having a rod that, I know I've covered saying about the action, but having that bit of power kind of in the butt and kind of up to halfway through the midsection as well, just allows you to punch that feeder and be accurate and have the power to be accurate, especially when it's a strong crosswind. But as you might be able to see from the side angle there, the playing action's lovely. And similarly with the other rods as well, so you've got the 8-foot model in the range, so that's going to be perfect for, you know, maybe up to sort of 25, 30 meters, or maybe when it's just a bit beyond pole range, you're on a venue that might be, I don't know, 20, 25 meters wide, maybe it's really windy, and you just want to underarm the feeder, or, you know, like I say, 25 meters to the island, just small little chucks. Sometimes it's good to drop a method on the pole line as well, and you know, an 8-foot rod is going to be perfect for that sort of thing. The 911s as well, you've got a multi-length rod there in the 911 that's going to cover most bases. Back in the day when Shimano Beastmasters were launched and were all the rage, you know, the 911 was actually one of my favourite rods, and the 911 in this range is going to cover exactly that same ground. So there we go, another Makins carp. I say another because we've had an absolutely brilliant session catching these fish. So that's going to be, I think, a lovely way to conclude this little video. So if you're in the market for some new rods, you know, not only for commercials but for natural waters and things as well, you know, and if you're out wanting to target and catch fish like this, then the Shimano Aero X3 Precision feeder rods are going to be right up your street. You can check out more information on the Shimano website, or check out www.matchfishingmagazine.com, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers guys.